How do you say his last
Hey,
name?
can you
correctly?
guys hear me?
Coral. Like coral
Coral?
reef.
Okay.
Coral reef.
Thank you. I didn't want to botch it.
Don't worry, everybody does.
All right, welcome everyone. This is Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. We got Chris, or I'm sorry, we have Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane. He's going to be hosting real quick while I put this link everywhere.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
And if you want to go, you got it, brother. We are live.
All right, whoever's got their volume up or they're playing something in the background, you can hear it.
Not me.
Uh-oh. It's all you.
All right. Hello. Welcome to clearproptv.com. I'm already nervous. Now I'm on the spot.
The guy goes to a fly-in and comes back and doesn't know how to get into life anymore.
No, I can't. Kevin can fly. Hello, sir. How are you? We have JP on the panel tonight. Who else do we have? We have Linda, our cheerleader. We have Brian Haybell Waller. We have PPG Grandpa, who's in the background right now. Our guest tonight is Larry Korell. He is. We're going to ask him a bunch of questions tonight, and hopefully we can learn something that we haven't learned yet. I'm Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane, and this is my first time introducing everybody, and hopefully it went all right because Brian does a way better job. Welcome, everybody.
You're all good.
How's everybody's Monday so far?
Yeah, I got a flight in. I'm good.
Me too,
Rubbing in 17 mile an hour here. We're not flying nothing.
Ooh.
I flew backwards today to Paramotor for the first time.
I've only done that once, and it wasn't fun.
I've never done it.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry, Chris. I forgot you were in here. I can't see who all's in here, so let me read.
Yep.
There's an arrow on the right.
I'm on my phone. It's completely.
Man.
JP, I didn't introduce you, nor did I do Tommy. Who else is in here? Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I just had a picture, or whoever talked. That's who showed up on my screen.
What about Kevin Kapla?
I already said Kevin can fly. He gets enough attention already.
Yeah, he has his own .com.
He's got his own .com. Jeez. So, all right. So,
Okay.
Larry, I think I need to wait to ask you questions till Sean gets back. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself while we're waiting?
Well, let's see. I took up flying 14 years ago, going on 15. First time I even ever saw a PPG, I was driving my son back from college. And there's a main road through town, and I'm driving. All of a sudden, I look to the right, and there's a guy flying 20 feet to the side of me. Like, what the hell? He kind of gives me a smile, a wave, and then he takes off. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Didn't have the money to do it then, wasn't really interested. Then my kids graduated college, and I'm like, I need something to do. And I went back to that moment and said, that's kind of interesting. First time I ever saw a PPG.
My bad. I turned it off. I tried to catch it quick enough.
No worries. But then, yeah, I started going online and trying to figure out what it was. And then I started hitting people up local, and all of a sudden I see this guy, Jeff. Hey, Jeff lives down the block. I hit him up. I had no idea who Jeff was. So I'm talking to him, nice guy. Why don't you come over? I'll show you my machine. You know, it turns around, it's Jeff Goin, and Goin, or however you want to pronounce his name. Jeff goes by both ways, oddly enough. And he kind of got me into it, and took up flying after that. It was kind of odd to run into Jeff that way, and I still didn't know who he was for years after. And I started hopping online and realized this is a guy that kind of is Mr. PPG.
Nice.
Yeah. He started it all, right?
I'm gonna start.
So what was your first setup? What gear did you get when you first started?
First thing, I went on like probably most people did, and I saw Blackhawk. They had all the advertisements and everything. So I ended up with an HE125, and they got their Momentum glider. And to tell you, I really did not like the HE125. I flew it for a few years, 2-3 years, and it ran great. Then all of a sudden, after about 100 hours, I was flying over a cornfield, thank God, and all of a sudden I lost power. I was flying with another guy, and he's going, man, I was behind you, and all of a sudden I saw your redrive fall off into the field. It's like, holy crap. So it's like, okay, don't like that motor. And now I fly a Polini, so I kind of switched over. I'm not in the mood to dropping redrives and propellers, especially when I have to cross roads where I fly. You never want to, you land one of those in a car, things aren't going to go too well.
So, so are you self-taught? Did you go to class?
I went to class. I live in the Chicago area, but the only place I could find at the time was the Indy Air Hogs. So I ended up going down there and spent like a week down there. Weather wasn't too good. I just got a little kiting in. Dave Halcom was my teacher. And he kind of helped me out actually over the phone. So I'm kind of, he helped me, but I kind of did a lot myself. I kind of came back, did a lot of kiting, took my first flight by myself. And I just kind of eased my way into it. At the time, I didn't know a whole lot about YouTube. I wasn't looking for how to do it. There weren't a lot of guys showing you how to do it. So I'm kind of a mixture of both.
Well, now with YouTube, everybody's going to show you how to do it. Even if they don't know how to fly themselves, they've got, I can do it and I will show you videos.
Hold my beer. Yep.
Exactly. And where are you at? Where are you located at?
The town called Naperville. It's right outside. It's outside of Chicago, about 45, 50 minutes. And it's literally on the edge of this. It's like you got the city, then you got all these suburbs. And right at the edge of my town, I go 1 mile. And if you go up in the air, 500 miles of cornfields. So I really have the best. I can, I'm kind of close to the city where I can do what I need to do. I've got the conveniences. But at the same time, I can take off 5 minutes from here and just go.
So I bet you can really do some serious foot dragging.
Yeah, I've had bad luck with that. Kicking up rocks. You get a rock in the prop, it'll ruin your day. I mean, it's kind of fun for a while. We have a lot of sod farms out here, which is really nice. So if you're going to do foot dragging, we can do it on the sod farms. But, if you're not doing the sod farm, you're going to kick up a rock and ruin your day with the prop.
Totally agree. I got about 100 hours of just foot dragging time, and let me tell you, I think I got it down pat. Thank you very much, Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane and Larry for doing a little behind the scenes, and I was able to put our link out there, so hopefully we'll get some more people. How many people we got going on right now? How many people we have in the chat
Right now? Oops, go ahead.
All right, we got 10 and I think 4 thumbs up. So we need some thumbs up, guys.
We got 4 thumbs up, and how many people are watching? 10 people watching. Okay, hopefully we'll go up just a little bit more.
Let's do a big shout out to the guys in the chat: Bill H, John Wayne, Dwayne Crow, and of course,
Why is this not showing up on mine?
Calvin Pewitt. What's up, guys?
Hey. all my
Welcome
questions
everybody.
are there.
Thank you everyone that's watching us live stream.
Thank
We really appreciate you. Let me go ahead and go through and introduce everybody. I know Skinny Chef Shane already did that. Let's go ahead and go through. We got Linda Anderson. Linda Anderson. We got our cheerleader. Welcome. Thank you so much for being our cheerleader.
Absolutely.
If you want to be on our show, Linda usually will reach out to you, or you can reach out to her because she is our PR person. We have Never Trust the Skinny Chef Shane. Not only is he our funny guy, but he's also a host. What we got going on?
Hello.
Who's doing this? Jackie? What you got going on?
I'm trying to highlight channels as we're doing introductions. So yeah. There's Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane if you guys wanted to look him up. Continue with your spiel.
And we also have everyone's information down below, so make sure you check out everyone. We have our paramotor guy, the guy that actually will teach us some paramotoring, our instructor, Kevin Can Fly at kevincanfly.com. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, just making lamels, fixing the motor, making things better.
I've been watching that. That's pretty cool. So you're actually 3D printing lamels?
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's a CAD designer, and he did the rough CAD sketch up for some lamels for me. and we test printed a few, adjusted the code a little bit, and now I've printed a set, and I'm going to test fly them and see how they work, and we'll just keep adjusting until we get something we like.
That is so cool. We also have, and thank you for being on the show, we also got Brian Bill Waller. Woot, woot. Welcome, Brian.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here as usual. Just went to an awesome fly-in. Got to meet JP for the first time. That was awesome. Got to fly with him. He chased me down. He was pretty insistent on getting that wingtip touch in.
Oh, I wouldn't let him get away. I was gonna crash him out of the sky if I had to.
I
That's
gotta
right.
point out that JP was about 3.5 inches from buying himself a new prop when he leaped off of that trailer.
Why is everybody freaking out about that?
Oh,
I didn't say I was freaking out about it. I just said you almost cost yourself a new prop.
No.
Okay, so for people that are watching this, where do they go to watch this video of this
the incident in question.
incident in question? Yes,
Brian, I know
it's
that
gonna be
Brian
processed
posted it
into
on
my video
Facebook to his
eventually, but
page.
JP's got the clip.
JP's
It's
got
on
the clip.
my Instagram right now. If anybody wants to check it out, it's the second to last post. JP_Tulo.
And Brian is also our famous guy here because Tucker Gott has shouted out to him a couple of times. So I guess you know what, we probably need to shout out Tucker Gott. So Tucker Gott, shout out to you.
What's up, Tucker?
All
I
right.
met him exactly a year ago today.
Wow, that is cool.
Yep.
So cool.
Yep.
Everybody, I think everybody knows Tucker Gott. 1.42 million people actually subscribe to him. I bet there's a couple other people that see him every once in a while. We also have our JP Tulo. He is our IT guy. The only guy that I know that's actually pulled a reserve in real life and not an SIV course. So here's JP. And he watches his own videos, as you can see. That's awesome. We also got him on Instagram. Where's your Instagram? JP_Tulo. All right. Where's that video that you were talking about? Is it on your Instagram? Is this him?
This is
Yep.
me.
So he comes in and he does a touch and go on the flatbed, which looks
Oh
real
my
good.
gosh.
And he leaps off, and you see him sink out, and he puts his hands up right there, and he got
Whoa.
real close.
Hey,
But
that's
it
nothing
looked all
compared to the butt cage drags I saw him do 100 yards down the grass strip, man, on purpose.
Hey, just a quick question. The guy in the background, does he ever land on that?
He tries.
Yeah, hey Shane, I got some video. He had some good ones.
So we also have Tommy Mosley. He's my wingman over here in Arkansas. Welcome, Tommy.
Tommy.
You can find him at ppgtommy.com. PPG
Yep. JP, I hearted your post on Instagram. I thought that was pretty slick.
Oh man, thank you, sir.
Actually, go up to where it says
I like
YouTube up there and just type in at the very top there where it says youtube.com. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Type in ppgtommy.com. There you go. The easiest way to find Tommy and all of his cool videos. Boom, boom. PPG Tommy.
Oh, no! Everybody, look away real quick. Look away.
Uh-oh. Somebody better subscribe. All right.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yes, I got another one.
All right. You're up to
ring that bell.
9 subscribers. Woohoo! Awesome. We also have Chris Meinberg in the house. What's up, Mr. Chris? Chris is a past guest that decided to jump on and just be on the panel tonight. So welcome, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me on again. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to stay on very long, but I've got kid duty to attend to. So
we totally understand. Thank you for being on the panel tonight. It's always good. And of course, the man of the hour, the person that we all came here to talk about or talk to, Larry Korell. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks
Are
for
you
having
on
me.
YouTube, Larry?
What's that?
Are you on YouTube?
Yeah, Larry K PPG.
Yeah, we got the link in the description of this particular video that's going on right now.
Typed in PPG Tommy and it didn't come up for me. Tommy, what's your logo?
ppgtommy.com. Up where it says
Oh.
like YouTube or
Is this
Yeah,
right,
I
Larry?
That's it.
uh-oh.
We're gonna hit
Subscribe. All right, we got another subscriber.
another subscribe button. We're gonna encourage everyone who's watching to hop on and subscribe as well. Support our guests and support the show. It goes a long way.
Tommy, just go ahead and notice I'm number 10. Click. I don't know how I don't know how that's not happened already.
That's because we don't have his bio yet. He sent it to me and I never got it, or he sent it to his friend Sean Symons instead of Sean Symons. I think that's
I
what he
apologize,
said.
Tommy. I apologize.
He's like
So,
an 86-year-old. He's like an 86-year-old dentist. I know he's confused right now.
So what are we
Yeah.
watching right now? An airplane flying in front of someone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
there's airplanes flying in front of me. I like to do. We have tons of airplanes, helicopters. God, we spend more time avoiding stuff than trying to get somewhere.
Now, I know that you've been flying for about 15 years so far. Now, you've been flying PPG for 15 years?
Yep, that's all I got.
Oh,
So when you first started, you started when there was just what, maybe that guy with the flat top thing and the heavy round things, the captain guy, or those are the only two people that were really doing it 15 years ago, right?
Oh, Jeff Goyne. That's who
Yeah,
got me
Jeff.
into it.
Jeff
Jeff,
Goyne.
Jeff lived down the block from me before he moved to Florida. He lived a couple miles down. As a matter of fact, I'm on his runway right where I'm at now. I'm directly west of the runway.
So he's the one that got you into this.
Yep.
Did he
And,
train you?
Did he train you?
No, I was saying I was taking my kid to college one day and I was driving home on there's a fairly sizable road that divides where I live. And look off to the side of me, 20 feet next to me is this guy flying this machine. I had no idea what it was. He kind of gives me a chuckle, kind of waves, takes off. Like, that was pretty cool. Didn't think much about it. 4 years later, my kid graduates. I'm like, I need a hobby. Thinking that thing was pretty cool. I got to look it up. So I started looking up. There were only a few guys, a guy by the name of Nick Schultz. Jeff showed up. And it's like, wow, this guy's like a mile away from me, a couple miles. I'll hit him up. He was nice, invited me over, showed me his gear. I had no clue who this guy was. A really nice guy, though. And then he kind of got me into it. And I started looking at gear. And it kind of went from there. And I flew with them a few times. And over the years, I finally figured out, crap, this is Jeff Goyne, the guy that, one of the godfathers of flying. So he's very unpretentious, a super nice guy. And really sad he moved away from here because he was pretty helpful. Good guy to hang around.
Well, that's cool. So in your 15 years of flying paramotor, you've learned a lot of cool things. We talked about this before. Now, as we look on your YouTube channel, you really don't do a lot of YouTubing. You don't do a lot of video because what, you just go up and fly around, have a good time, and you don't really care about it or care about video?
Actually, I do, because there are people, it's funny, where I live, out of the 100 people that you'll see when you're flying that are non-flyers, 99 of those people will love you. There's going to be one guy that doesn't want you around. So I literally video everything I do. The problem is I see the same thing. If I have a video that has an airplane fly by, or I've got another one where a helicopter flies literally right next to me. A guy owns his own helicopter, and he didn't realize not to fly next to me. So I kind of duck out of the way, but he's 30 feet away. Stuff like that I'll put up there. I really do it just so I can prove to people, hey, I'm not flying over houses. I'm not flying over, your property, stuff like that. So I do have it. I do keep it. But, a lot of guys put really cool stuff out. You got Tucker Gott. I've got a bunch of you guys who put neat stuff out, doing wing overs. I'm pretty plain vanilla. I do like to do a lot of stuff, but most of my cool shots are airplanes flying by or, going over top the corn. Nothing, you see it once, you've seen it enough.
So this is what we're all going to look like in about 15 years. We're just going to be like, I guess we'll video it maybe because I've seen it all. But you're still flying. I mean, it's not like it's boring. It's just, what do you put out on video after you've seen it all? I guess that's what it is, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm afraid of heights. I fear heights. And I get such a high by flying. I mean, I get the nerves before I take off. But once I take off, I'm still nervous. I'm a nervous flyer in a commercial plane. I'm a nervous flyer doing this, but I love it. I mean, the joy of flying, the thrill of being up in the air with the geese, red-tailed hawks, all kinds of birds. I mean, flying next to you is really kind of cool. So it's like the adrenaline rush I get from flying is the reason I do it. It
Now,
never gets old. The fear doesn't go away.
Exactly. Well, that's cool. I
can
mean, I wonder how
totally
many people out
sympathize
there.
with you on that, man.
What's that?
I said I could totally sympathize with you on that, Larry. I'm afraid of heights. I have been since I was a kid, and I think it's conquering that fear, getting up there, and just going for it.
Exactly.
I don't think there's anybody that's not afraid of heights. I think everybody's afraid of heights, whether they want to admit it or not.
Or
I think
afraid of
what it
heights,
really
or
com-
afraid of falling from heights? Because
Well, just heights in general, falling,
heights.
being high, whatever. I just think, natural human ability is not to fly. Our natural human ability is to fall like a stone. So
Yep.
I
just
don't know.
seems,
I after taking those SIV courses, and knowing that I got this above my head, and knowing that I got a reserve, I'm just not afraid of falling out of
Well-
the sky.
So you
Well,
like
it's
to go
not
up there and
about-
totally collapse your wing and fall to the earth, man.
No,
That just
I don't
sounds
like to
crazy.
fall to the earth, but I do enjoy the SIV courses because I know that it takes a lot to collapse, and if it does collapse, I know what to do to get the collapse out and fly away. So I just don't feel afraid. Which reminds me, have you ever taken an SIV course?
I have not. I don't think I have the guts to do it, to be honest. I mean,
Interesting.
I totally get the reason you'd want to take one. I think it's great. I think it's a great way to learn your wing, like you said, where the limits are of the wing, especially if you run into air like that. We typically, when I fly, I don't hang around air like that. It'll be 5 to 10 mile an hour winds, pretty stable up through the atmosphere. The only thing we run into by Lake Michigan, we get gust fronts off the lake. That's something you probably wouldn't think of. And we'll be up there flying. And luckily I have an app. I'm trying to know what the name of this app is. It's a running radar scope, I think it's called.
I got radar scope. Yes.
Yeah. And the reason I have it is not for the rains that are coming. If a rain, that's forecasted. It's the stuff that comes off the lake. If we get an easterly wind, it'll kick, and all of a sudden in 10 minutes, you get a gust from 35, 40 miles an hour that'll go from Lake Michigan all the way out by me. And you don't want to be in it. I've gotten caught in them before. And that was kind of my own personal SIV course. So underwear changing moment, shall we say.
So when you were in this little gust front, how did you get down and get the wing under control?
Well, first thing I did was get up high. I typically fly around 200 feet. And I figured if my wing's going to collapse, I better be up a little bit higher. So I kind of went up between 500 and 1,000 feet and just kind of rode it out, stayed into the wind. Part of the time I was going backwards, which is kind of scary. But I figured if I went down to the ground and I caught it, 35 mile an hour wind, it would drag me and do some major damage. So I just kind of rode it out.
Interesting. Kevin Can Fly, what would be your view, or how would you tell a student if they got caught into, a gust front? What would you tell them to do? Get up high, ride it out? What would you tell them?
That is a very dependent question on what the area around you is. So if it's like a wide open cornfields, hayfields, then being low isn't gonna be any worse than being high. It's gonna be pretty unobstructed laminar air, so it's just gonna be fast, bumpy, and crappy. If you have a lot of trees, buildings, obstructions upwind from you, then you're gonna want to be at least 100, if not 250 or 500 feet above those obstructions to be out of the mechanical turbulence that they create.
And that's what we run into. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
My bad.
I was gonna say, as far as getting down though, in a safe manner, that's where big ears comes in. Because if you pull big ears, you're essentially loading the center nose of the wing while diminishing the lifting span. So you're able to penetrate, keep the wing open, and descend at a faster rate to get you down to the ground. And one thing to note is you can hold big ears all the way to the ground. You don't need to let them up at 100 feet or 50 feet. You can hold them all the way in, And right as you're on your final approach, when you would go to flare like normal, you'd let them go, and then you process your flare just like you normally would. And you can actually hold them all the way into the ground and flare with the A's and your brakes in your hand. And it's probably going to be a crappy landing, but it's not going to be something that's going to crash you in.
See,
Thanks, Andy. I'll keep that in mind.
that's what I love about this show. You know, I love all my peeps. You guys are wonderful. Every time that we do this, I learn something new, and I totally appreciate everyone. Larry, we also talked earlier about you use birds to find altitude. Can you talk more about that, please?
Yeah, the one thing being afraid of heights, I always liked it to be as smooth as possible. I don't mind getting jostled around. I mean, it's kind of fun. But like when we're going out into the field, we typically go about an hour and a half before sunset. And sometimes the winds are strong. And we're trying to figure out, okay, how the hell are we going to get over there? Because we always typically fly into the wind and fly, back with it. And we found out that by following the geese, because the geese will head to the cornfields about an hour and a half before sunset to feed. So we'll follow the geese. We realize that when we're flying at the same level as the geese, that the winds are way more calm, way smooth, way more laminar. So the geese know what the hell they're doing. So when we go out, we're following the birds. We're literally, flying at the same level they're at. And honest to God, it's the smoothest area out there. I don't know how they figure it out. I don't know if because I don't see them going high and then low, high and low to figure it out. They just hit a level. And it's never the same level. It could be 100 feet, it could be 500 feet. They're uncanny in their ability to find the smooth area.
That's why we call them the locals. If you want to know where to go, you just follow the locals.
Yep.
I've been hearing that a lot lately when you guys go to fly, and you're seeing. You and Robert was talking about that one time. You watch.
Well, there's a saying in free flight, man.
Flying. You watch which way the birds are flying, and.
Oh man, if you watch the birds and the birds are flapping, that means you ain't doing it. It's just that simple. If the locals ain't soaring, then you ain't soaring, because they're way better at it than we are.
Yeah, good point, because we'll watch the red-tailed hawks by us. And if we're not taking off until they're flapping their wings, because it's going to be a bad ride by us. So that's a great
those
point.
thermals real good.
I sure do.
Now, we also talked a little bit before the show. You talked about you fly in all sorts of weather, but mostly it's good laminar air. But you also fly around wet grass, take off in wet grass and land in wet grass, but you also have some tips and tricks. So what are the tips and tricks about wet grass?
Well, it's probably a lot of stuff you guys know. You probably know even more tricks than I do. It's either wet grass, like when we fly in July and August, you get up in the morning, the grass is always soaking wet. Your feet are going to get wet. Or if we fly in the winter, we're going to have snow, possibly ice. And I used to crash and burn a lot because I'd get my wing up, I'd hit the gas and try to run. Well, I found out that after a while, that's a really dumb thing to do. So what I like to do is a power forward, where I'll give it a probably 20% gas, lead down a little bit so it's not hitting the wing. When I start to run, lean up, start to lean back and gun it. I only have a 130. So when I gun it, it's not like I'm hitting the monster and I'm going 100 miles an hour. But when I hit the gas, I let it push me as opposed to trying to run and trying to use my feet for traction. I just, like you should, let it push you and just walk under it. Because I found out
your feet are kind of like you're skipping.
Yeah, because if you try to run, you're going to slip and fall. But if you just stand up and let it push you, you're just going to, use it as landing gear and stuff, and you're not going to slip. So it's kind of the same thing on landing, where we'll come in, and I like to do a slide landing, because I found out when I would come in and do a regular landing, I would come up and start to drop, and I'd drop and I'd lose my footing and fall. So now if I do a slide landing, I'll just slide it all out, and it's way easier, and I tend not to fall that way.
Interesting. So when you come in, do you normally come in and you go, you normally come in and go up and then land like that?
Well, on a typical landing, yeah, but on wet grass, no, I'll just come in. I'll just feel the brakes a little bit so I kind of know where they're at. And then just as I'm about to touch the ground, I just give enough to where I can kind of just keep gliding along the ground and slowly let off to give the weight. And right at the end, I just give it, full brakes at the end when I'm about to stop.
Okay. Real quick, panel. When you land, do you come in like this, go up, and then drop? Or how do y'all land?
Only when I pull too much brake too quick.
I had my hand up earlier for a question, but I'll get back to this question. Red-tailed hawks, I look for them everywhere and all the time. Those are my favorite birds.
Me too.
Of predator birds. As for landing, I come in. I don't elevate when it's even. I come in almost level with the ground and then flare just as I get sink. So it's kind of even, if you will. I don't rise up with my flares. At least I don't think I do. Brian? I don't know if I do. I feel it's all smooth. It's all just come in level, and then as you get that last little bit of sink, you just kind of flare, and that's it.
Oh, I definitely struggle with that. You know, one of my runways at home is downhill, and if you're coming in, hit a little sink, you flare a little too early, you know, I've dropped from 5 feet before and recovered it, but that's something that you kind of just got to get a feel for. And when you're dealing with a little bit of sink, you have to get used to coming in with a little bit of power. But I'm still a new pilot.
Me too.
Yeah, I use an advanced technique. I come in with power and I basically foot drag in and start slowing up and stalling the wing right about to the point where you just walk away almost. But it's not something I recommend. It's not something I recommend to people that aren't 100% comfortable, because one accidental misstep and you can either turtle backwards and blow your prop up, or other bad things can happen on landing if you have your motor running. So
I'm going to share this with you guys real quick. I've been doing a lot of trying to get up to 500 feet and then glide in and land. So this is kind of my typical landing, just gliding in. Instead of raising up and dropping, I kind of just slide in and then stand up. So I'm not actually, rising up and down. Is that about what you normally do, Larry? Something like this? Or do you actually raise up and drop?
No, I don't raise up. Pretty much what you're doing, except the grass is usually pretty wet. And if we're on ice or snow and we're just sliding for 20, 30 feet, but pretty much that. And especially on days like a lot of times when I fly in the snow, which I love winter flying, it's really smooth air. But when you come down, there's no wind. And I have my brakes, my trims halfway out. That's how I typically fly. So I'm coming in pretty fast. So I'll slide a good 20, 30 feet. But it's exactly as you just did it. If I was on dirt, that's exactly what it would show like.
Okay. I was under the impression that you were saying that you kind of, swoop in, pull the brakes, go up, and then drop down. So
no, that's the other way. That's how I would do if it was dry grass. I just tend to, when I pull, I don't know if I really go up. I swing forward like they tell you, and then you swing back and drop.
Okay.
So I really don't like go up.
So, but that doesn't hurt your legs, and you're used to that, and you've been doing that for 15
I think you get
years.
used to it. Yeah, you've been, carrying all this weight on your back. It doesn't bother me at my age yet. Maybe someday it will. Then it's trek time.
Definitely a trike then. And then one more thing before we open up the panel to ask you questions. We were talking about finding LZs around your area. How do you find LZs? Especially because there's a lot of new people out there that are like, I want to fly. How do I go find LZs? And then if the pilot messes up and that closes down, how do you go find another one?
Two ways. One, by flying and literally just keeping your eyes open. I mean, a lot of times we'll see, you think of us by having a lot of cornfields. We have a lot of trees too. So we'll get trees, cornfields. I don't know why they have trees in the middle of cornfields. It must be between. What's that?
It's windrows. It helps block some of the wind from hitting the crops.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes total sense because there's a hell of a lot of trees where I'm at. That's why I tend not to fly.
Rotor for paramotor pilots.
Yeah, exactly. Rotor. But yeah, we'll fly around, and a lot of times you'll see manicured lawns out in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes you'll find out there are baseball fields, so you kind of mark it. And there's an app hunters use that tell you who owns the property, so you can actually go to the owner and ask them. Another way is just Google Earth. Sometimes I'm sitting at work board, I'll call up Google Earth and I'll just start going around the area looking for like open areas where I might be able to fly. So those are kind of the two ways we find them. Because out by me, as much as we have cornfields, the farmers do not want to let you fly. They don't want the liability. You don't want to take someone else's field. The people kind of get ticked off at that if it's another pilot. All pilots by me, if you ask them, yeah, it's our field, we've been flying here, come on over and fly. But you don't just want to show up out of nowhere, because guys have come passing through town, found a field that was someone's landing zone, pissed the hell out of the neighbors. Neighbors call the police, and it gets ugly. So it is kind of good to talk to your local pilots. They'll also help you. Most of the time we'll say, hey, come fly with us. Or they'll tell you, stay away from this area. That's kind of critical to keeping landing zones.
Exactly. Well, rest of the panel, if you have any questions for Larry, he has 15 years experience. He's flown through a lot of stuff, but he's never done an SIV course. Any questions for Mr. Larry?
I got a question. What's in the mug that you're drinking out of?
It's just root beer. I wish it was beer. It's root beer.
So it is beer. It's just root.
Yeah, I got you.
It's not the good.
Sean's over there drinking a margarita.
There you go.
So you kind of touched on this earlier, Larry, but I'm curious to get a expounded answer. What gear do you fly? Wing, motor, frame, etc.
I've got a Kangook Frame, the classic, but I like that because the prop is inside. Sometimes when I take off, it doesn't take off, and the wing will come flying down. And even though I'll kill the engine, it still, as you know, it keeps spinning. So it keeps glider lines from getting chopped off. So I like the frame for that. It's very light and sturdy. I have Polini 130, which for me has been a very good engine. They're notorious, as you know, for having bad starters. But what we figured out in the Polini group is that the 130 and the 90 starters are the same, but if you go up to the 200 starter, it's a totally different, much stronger spring in there, and they don't break. So all I did was replace the 130 starter with the 200. Voila, no more starter problem.
Oh.
And then I fly a 23-meter Colorado, and I weigh 200 pounds. I'm a heavy loaded on it, a little heavier, than mid-range.
And what size wing did you say?
A 23-meter Colorado.
Okay.
So a 23-meter Colorado at 200 pounds, it's right in that fun category, but still really safe.
Exactly, and that's I'm looking for safety. I mean, at 60 years old, you don't heal as well when you crash. So trying to keep the damage to the minimum plus gear.
Well, day one at pilot school, they told me we're supposed to refrain from that crashing stuff.
But I'm an expert at it. I thought that was the first thing I'm supposed to learn.
Hey man, some of us are just better at the tuck and roll than others. It's a natural thing. I say it's fear. I just go into the fetal position. It's all right.
I take out fences and cars and cornfields. I've hit a lot of good stuff.
Did I see you posted recently about breaking one of your J-bars?
Yeah, I slipped and fell. Came right down forward on it. Landed on my face. That was me.
Did you have a spare one laying at home that you were able to put back on, or how long?
No, I just called up the owner. Oddly enough, they're in Canada, and I got it in 2 days. I couldn't believe I could actually get a part in 2 days, but he sent me a replacement set.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that was, yeah, because I've broke one once on my Blackhawk, and that took a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get, which is a bummer because usually I break stuff because the weather's good because everybody else is out flying. And instead of flying, I'm sitting there waiting for my gear to get fixed, which is, heartbreaking when your buddies are out flying having a good time.
Oh, yeah. So in 14 years, have you just owned the 2 machines, or have you owned more machines than that?
Let's see, I've got a Polini 130 that's 500 hours. That's my backup. I've got one that's got 100 hours on it. That's the one I typically fly. Before that, I had an H&E motor, which was utter crap. It really was. I hate to say it, but I had bad luck with it. I was telling the guys before you came on, I switched over to the Polini because I was flying with one of the guys and I was coming back, and it's about 500 feet up, about to cross the road, and all of a sudden I heard zing, and you could just tell the motor stopped. Well, the motor didn't stop. The redrive fell off, literally fall off into a cornfield. And yeah,
Now,
after that, I'm
curious. I gotta interrupt you at this point because I have to ask: was this due to a mechanical failure, like i.e. a bolt's broken, or was this an oversight and we forgot to check the torque or something?
no, it was the bolt actually broke.
Okay.
And which is the weird part because I'm thinking, okay, what's going to cause a bolt to break? It's a redrive. What's going to cause vibration? I just had a new prop put on. I literally just got the new prop. I made sure the prop was balanced, so it wasn't, it wasn't vibration from the prop. I checked the bolts before I took off, and it just snapped off. The motor is about 3 years old, but I wouldn't think an M8 bolt would snap. It did. So I really don't know why. I have no explanation.
Sure. I'm just curious to understand the failure is all.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I honestly wish I could have found out, but that kind of soured me because I'm thinking, okay, if I would have crossed this road and this thing would have fallen on a car, that would have been really ugly. So I figured if I got a Polini, the redrive is kind of part of the motor. It doesn't bolt on. So I figured I'd at least be safe that way. Kind of my logic, and it was a good engine.
When it comes to bolts and stuff, every year or every 2 years or every so many hours, do you guys go through and change out the bolts on anything on your motor or frame or anything like that? So something like this doesn't happen?
The only thing I know is that now when I get a motor, I literally go around and make sure every screw has a blue Loctite on it. And excuse me, oddly enough, I find a lot of bolts don't. And they'll slowly start to work out like the starter bolts don't. I don't know why they don't do every frickin' bolt Loctited that they can do. I know some you can't, but
on the side note, make sure,
when you go flying, you got to bring one of these with you. This has every assorted tool you could need to repair a paramotor.
There you go.
There you go. What did you say, JP?
I was going to say, make sure not to use Loctite on bolts that go into plastic.
Yep.
It will, on some types of plastic, it will crack the plastic and just eat it from the inside out. So you definitely got to be careful about that.
That's a great point.
Hey, Sean, I think Shane has a question.
Yes, Shane. You're muted, Shane. So if you have a question, you got to unmute yourself.
That explains so much.
All right.
So Amy George has a question about a very new pilot who doesn't understand about airspace and where he can fly or cannot fly. Advice for the guest, Larry.
First thing I'd say is never fly over anybody's house. I mean, our motto is take off. And wherever I take off, I will never, ever fly over anybody's house. That is, people, not only is it, just a good, the FAR's role, it's also good being a good neighbor. People, we had a buddy about a month ago, and we have permission to fly at the one location, and he was landing, the winds were bad, and he just managed to go over the guy's house. And the guy's typically a nice guy. We've met him. He was cool with us flying. He went nuts that someone flew literally right over his house. Even though it was like 400 feet up, he goes, don't you ever fly over my house. So people just don't like it. They feel it's their property. I know they don't own the air above them, but you're going to piss people off, and it's the last thing you want to do. You piss someone off, they're going to call the police. They're going to get a park district involved. Someone's going to call, and a cop may come and visit you, which happened to a buddy of mine when he flew over someone's house. And the police are going to say, just don't fly around here. We don't want you. So the goal of flying is to be as neighborly as possible. Be as, if someone wants to see your gear, come on over, be friendly with them. Just be nice to people. They appreciate it.
So, Larry, is there an app that you use or a program that you like to use about airspace and what you can and can't do?
I do not have one. Where I fly, I'm so far in the cornfields, I don't have to worry. I'm far enough away from O'Hare Airport. We also have Midway Airport. The smaller airports are literally just some guy's backyard for an airport. So I don't have to deal with the airspace. I don't fly up in the clouds. I don't, my typical flight is between, right over the top of the corn to 500 feet. I'll go up 1,000 every once in a while, but there's.
So I've got a little 2-bit of advice on this topic here. Everybody who has the ability with a smartphone or a laptop to get onto Amazon.com for about $12 can order up the FAA sectional chart for their local area. And then once you have that, if you don't understand how to read the chart, you can go to YouTube and look up a YouTube channel called flymy8.com. They're an general aviation channel, but they do every single type of pilot education you can think of. And they have a great course on understanding aviation airspace. The point of it is, at the end of the day, you want to be able to take your finger and blindly stab it on that map anywhere and be able to tell the FAA inspector, the safety inspector, anybody who's going to question you exactly what that airspace is, from the ground that your feet stand on all the way up to 18,000 feet. If you can do that, pinpointing that sectional chart blindfolded, then you will always know exactly where you are when you're flying, and you'll know exactly what airspace you're in.
And what's that website again, Kevin?
FlyMy8.
Is it the number 8 or
Like
is
the
it
number
the?
8?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. If you just type in FlyMy8 on
And you're
YouTube,
saying 8, like the number 8, right?
like the number 8. Yeah,
Okay.
FlyMy8.
Gotcha.
Or you can just simply type in aviation airspace, and it'll bring up a litany of videos you can watch on aviation airspace. Some are 5 minutes long, some are 45-minute synopsis of airspace.
Is a house under Part F103 considered a congested area?
Yes.
Is it, would one house be, is it a group of houses or one house?
If you're
So,
flying
no,
over
no.
it, it's congested.
So understand, this is the way the FAA writes the law, and they do it so that way the pilot in command is always the person at fault. And the reason they do this is so that way, if you hit a bystander, and the way they word it is it can be one person per acre. But if you run into that one person in that whole acre, that means you as the pilot weren't taking the proper steps to avoid people property, and that puts you at the risk. So it's worded so you're always at fault.
Exactly. Which is why they also said too that, no dropping anything from a paramotor unless, so there is the unless, and everything that they have there is just if you run into something or you damage something drops off your paramotor and hits something and damages it, you're at fault. So the one thing that I've realized over this last X amount of time that I've been flying and studying and studying airspace is that as long as you're not flying over a group of people, you don't drop anything on anybody, and you don't run into anybody, you're pretty much okay. There's not going to be too many people that are going to see you flying, call the FAA and say, this guy was flying, directly over us or flying over a crowded area or trying to say something on the FAR 103 regulations. Nobody does that. I don't know if you know it or not, but I was reported to the FAA. Did I tell you guys that? I think I did in confidence a while back. Somebody called the FAA because they saw one of my videos. And I was flying, there's a nice big cloud cover, but below me and beside me, I could see down to the ground. But of course, that's the shot, right? You want to get the feeds and you want to get the clouds. Well, somebody called the FAA on me and said that, I was flying above the clouds without being able to see the ground. Thank goodness I have friends that have friends, and some of the friends are actually in the FAA. So I called up the person in the FAA and said, hey, this is what's going on. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. You didn't damage anything, so we don't care.
Note to self, when I get reported, call Sean.
I know some people that know some people, but anyway,
I've been reported a couple of times, and I can tell you that the way to go about when the FAA contacts you, be as open and transparent as you can, and be willing, whether it's by false identification or whether you actually are genuine, be willing to educate yourself and be willing to be humble. If you do those things, you probably will almost always avoid problems, tickets, court, etc. If you want to argue that you know that you were smart, that you didn't, whatever, that argument, that attitude and demeanor will almost always create a summons for you. So just try to be
Very
humble.
good advice, Kevin.
understand.
That's the best advice you give.
They're not there to shut you down. So don't think of the FAA as being bad guys. They're just there to make sure that what we're doing is safe. And that's the key word, is safety.
Yes.
So if you're not being safe and they can educate you or get you to practice better procedures and better safety, then you're going to walk out of it a better pilot. If you want to argue with them and tell them how you know something, they might educate you the hard way.
Exactly. And what's the #1 rule for paramotor pilots? Don't be a dick. So, right. So, and that's, you know, that's a life lesson. That's a life law. You know, don't be a dick in life. Don't be a dick in a paramotor. You know,
it's kind of the golden rule, man. Treat
right,
others like you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Real quick, Larry, what I do is I use Skyfly High on the app. On Skyfly High, it has all of the different airspace. One of the things that you can do is you can actually see all the different airspace. This is my Skyfly High. I can see all the airspace. If I tap it on the airspace, it'll actually pop up and show you, you know, what the airspace is. If it is airspace, if there is not any airspace, what is it from the ground up, you know, or above? So, I mean, and it'll actually show you as you're flying in a 2D mode and a 3D mode will show you where you're flying within this level. So, you know, it's like airspace up to 4,300, and then there's something above it. You can actually see yourself in 3D.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it is Fly Sky High, the only app that I fly with, except for PPGPS.
It'll give you a warning too when you're approaching airspace.
Yes, absolutely. John Wayne's in the house. Welcome, John Wayne.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, John.
Didn't mean to jump in, guys. That's just the only way I could get on here and see y'all.
No problem. Jump on. Enjoy, because that's what this is all about. Wow, we're almost up to 8 o'clock. Guys, do we have any more questions for Larry from the chat or from you guys? Any questions in the chat? I can't see it from here.
I have not seen any. John Wayne was talking about the Skyfly High, which I use as well. Sorry.
You okay, bud? Got that COVID?
I got the corona. I got a little bit of lime in my throat.
Uh-oh.
He put the lime in his coconut
and shook it all up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, I as well use Fly Sky High only because it tracks literally your GPS at altitude, your coordinates on the ground, and if anybody ever says you did this or you did that, you can pull it up and show exactly when and where, which is almost as good as video.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually better, because it can show you on the ground. And I don't know if you know it or not, but it also will track your flight, and you can have it go over to, is it livetrack24.com? Is that the right one?
I think it is. Yeah.
Livetrack24. So you can have your friends and family that know that you're going to go out. They go to Livetrack24. They go to your name, and it will actually show them where you're flying. And there's a 3D mode, so you can actually see it in 3D mode where you're flying and how fast you're going and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. It also has shadows. What's that?
That's pretty cool. It's like, hey, where'd Dad go down? I don't see him on radar.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's out in the field. We got him right here. That's actually a great idea.
It is.
Hey, I got a question for the guest.
Yes.
I mean, he's been flying for 15 years. I got a lot of questions, but do you fly with a reserve, and have you ever had to throw it?
I always have a reserve. Never had to have thrown it. A lot of the air is pretty smooth when we go up. Look at Roy and Carlton. see what's up in the atmosphere. The only time I've ever thought where I was going to throw it was when we had the gust front come off Lake Michigan. But now that I fly with an app that'll show it for me coming, I pretty well can get out of the way pretty quickly. I do have one. I do try to stay above 200 feet. I have practice using it. Luckily, I've never had to use it.
What are the apps that you use when you fly?
The apps, let's see.
Apps/websites. So
okay, I've got, did it say radar
We
scope?
know you use Raul Carlton.
Yep, Ryan Carlton, radar scope, weather bug, which gives me the local winds and wind gusts, wind alert for wind forecasts.
do you use Windy?
I've used that. I haven't found that accurate by me. I know some guys use it, but it's just been accurate.
I got a
Oh, you
curious question. When it comes to using Windy, what forecast model do you guys prefer to use?
North
Do you like
American
the
model.
local
Damn.
forecast or the national?
I go to Windy and then I change it to North American model,
Yep.
and
me
that's
too.
pretty accurate. How about y'all?
I use Windy. I don't even know what model I use.
So if you're
Yeah,
using the
also,
default is generally less predictable. If you go to the NAM is a little more predictable.
Yeah, NAM, the North American model, I believe that's what it's called. At least that's what I've been calling it, the NAM. When you go from the regular to the NAM, it's pretty darn accurate. If you leave it on the default, it's like there's no way I would ever go out because it looks like it'd be, a tornado out there.
The wind gusts
another
are
good
always
thing-
way higher.
Another good thing on that front is if you use the internet and look at your local airport, and generally it would be someplace that has a weather reporting station, generally a controlled airport, but they have a telephone number that you can call for the automated weather service. And then online, they have what's known as the TAF, or the terminal area forecast. And if you use those in conjunction with the Windy app, and they all three agree, or they're very close to agreeing, then you can very predictably assume that the weather coming for you is going to be what is forecasted. If you look at your aviation weather and it doesn't agree with Windy, always vary on the worser side. So if Windy says gusts at 15, but the aviation weather says gusts at 7, just assume gusts at 15. Don't assume the better, always assume the worse.
Yep.
What I prefer to do is I use like 3 or 4 apps, and then whichever one gives me the results I like the best.
That's exactly what I do.
That's so funny.
So
Sean,
we got a question legit from the chat. Or go ahead, Shane. I think you got this.
No. I had a completely different question. Go ahead, Brian, with the question with the chat.
Okay, the question with chat is from Pink Flamingo. Did you have an aha moment when you first started flying? Like, aha, I just learned how to do this.
First time I took off, I mean, I had, you go through mentally what it's like to take off, and it's never what you think. Once you leave the ground, it's one of those, I don't call it an aha moment. It was like a, holy Jesus, this is cool. This is cool. I'm actually freaking off the ground like a bird.
Yeah.
And then the
Like, aha, I'm
second,
addicted.
exactly. And then the next thing you're thinking, well, how the hell is this thing flying? Okay, it works. So it's more of a aha, God, this is freaking cool. And you're right, this sport is the most addicting thing in the world.
It is.
I can tell you during the day, every 5 minutes, I'm freaking looking at the weather. It's ridiculous. I mean, what are the winds doing? What's the forecast? What's going on? Looking out the window. What are the trees doing? Can I go flying today? Can I sneak out for a half hour? It's ridiculous, but it's great. It's, I think it's gotten me through all the shit that's been going on in 2020. Forgive me, French.
So how many hours do you fly a year usually?
Usually around 150, depending. I mean, obviously it depends on the weather, but I'm 5 minutes from a landing zone, and I'll take every advantage. The kind of job I do, I can go anytime I want. My boss is really cool. So I can get up early, go in the middle of the day. I typically don't unless it's really overcast. Once again, trying to stay away from the thermals. And then at the end of the day, You know, now the sun bias sets at 4:23, so I got to leave by about 3:30 so I can get in a quick 45-minute flight.
That's awesome. I
So
wonder, all you guys in the in the chat, all you guys on the panel, how many hours do you normally fly a year?
Well, my
at
first year I did 80.
I'm a little over 250 for this year.
Oh, that's some serious hours.
I'm almost exactly 30 hours. I hit my 1-year anniversary in 3 days.
Oh, that's good. But
Congratulations.
you also had a little mishap
Not
too that you had to
exaggerating.
wait. To
Yeah,
heal
3.5 months of downtime, but still, that doesn't make up for the missed amount of flights compared to how y'all guys fly. I mean, an average flight of 2 hours, my average flights are like 20 minutes if you average them all out.
Gotcha. How about you, Tommy?
I'm making 3.5-hour flights. I'm getting up there quicker than I thought I would.
That's because I'm pulling them on XCs.
Yeah, he's pulling me on XCs, and he's realizing my wing is slow, but it's extremely efficient. I can go for about 5 hours without having to fuel back up. But I'm right at 62 hours, and pretty much all of them are within the past year, not this year, but within the past year of flying.
And hopefully in the chat, somebody's told us how many hours they fly. Shane, you had a question before?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember now. It was something. We're over it now.
Okay.
I don't. I know. Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday at the fly-in when I left was exactly my 1 year of doing my solo flight. So roughly about 4 days after school, I did my first solo flight, and I think I'm at like 83 or 84 hours now on my motor.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. I didn't know that, man. Why didn't you tell us, dude? We would I'd have cooked the extra Boston butter or something, man.
I didn't know. I didn't know until I checked Facebook and that memory thing popped up, and
That thing's cool.
Yeah,
oh,
I met
cool.
Andrew Fuller there. We're gonna do the SIVs. I mean, yeah, it was an awesome fly-in, no doubt.
Oh yeah,
So,
Sean. Andrew was there, by the way.
Oh,
At the
I
fly-in.
think I just heard. I hope you all said hi for me. Let them know that I was like, wish I was there.
And Andrew was a whole different person, a different creature, if you will, at the fly-in. Him and I couldn't get away from him. He just kept chatting me up. I was just like, oh man. But yeah, it was great guy. Don't get me wrong, but he remember how we talked about doing the horseshoe during paramotor? Right. Yeah, I asked him about it. He said no. So I won't be doing that with my paramotor on.
I won't be ever doing that. I might when I try a new. I might try a new wing or something in the future and try it, but not with this gin.
Man, I tried to tell you guys, the shit you pull in SIV is not the stuff you go out and do on a normal everyday flying.
Correct, and that's why I didn't do anything until I asked, because I didn't ask when I was in class, but it was just a so non-eventful maneuver. I was like, oh, dude, this would be great to do during paramotoring. And I'm glad I asked. I really am, because
you would have done it?
Yeah, I was literally setting up for it within the next couple of flights. And I'm really glad that I had talked to him. And again, the guy took the time to stop his busy day of having fun and talking about his cages and everything else that he's got there to tell me that I'm an idiot. Don't do that.
I could have told you that. I mean, you didn't have to
good
go
guy.
It's
you didn't have to
paramotor.
go to a fly-in to learn that. I could have told you that right here. It's all good.
That's so funny.
Absolutely.
It's about 6 after 8 right now. Larry, how long can you hang with us? Do you need to go?
No, man, I'm good. First, I just want to say, first of all, thanks for having me on. I'm not a Jeff Goyne. I'm not. A lot of you guys are better pilots than me. I really appreciate you letting me be on the show. The one thing I love about our sport is stuff like this, where you have instant buddies. I've never been or asked a pilot that flies PPG or free flight a question where they wouldn't go out of their way. They would give you a shirt off your back to help you out or whatever. So this is like
Just
the
as
best thing I
long-
ever could have got into, It's cool.
Just as long as it isn't a GoFundMe.
Oh God, that would bring it up.
Speaking of giving your shirt off your back to another paramotor pilot, I don't know about shirt off my back, but I did house a couple paramotor pilots this past weekend in my camper.
Yep.
And I was given a couple ice packs in my freezer left in there. That was cool.
Given.
Did you charge the standard Airbnb fee for all those guys?
No, I didn't. Actually, I didn't say anything, and there was a couple guys like JP that stepped up, and actually, I would have been. I won't ask for anything. I'll just sit back and wait, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's just the kind of guy I am. And JP, he stepped up. I was grateful, very grateful.
Dude, you made that trip like so comfortable. I wish
Man, we had a good time. I mean,
yeah.
Shane's got a camper. Everybody sleeps with him. I got a camper. Nobody sleeps with me, but that's all good.
Man, that
Nobody
didn't
sleeps
sound
with
right.
you.
That didn't sound right.
It might have had something to do with the Alpo you were feeding that dog, man.
Yeah, dude. He's got gas. I blame it. I blame it on Major every time.
So
it was so cool though. They had 3 campers parked up in this little we had this little community there in the fly-in, a community within the community.
So nice.
Just-
That's so cool.
And you guys did a small little podcast, right? Shane and Brian.
Yes. Brian did, yes. And then
No.
I stood in the background and talked to 2 people who came up. This is the funniest thing ever, Brian. If I'm lying, I'm done. Brian's like, hey, it's so-and-so and so-and-so. And they're like, hey, Brian, how you doing? And JP's like, hey, I'm JP. And they're like, oh, hey, JP, how you doing? Never looked at me. And then I'm like, hey, I'm Shane. And they're like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. And I'm like, cool.
Oh, no.
And then one realized who I was, and this has never happened.
You had the sign over that said Skinny Chef Shane. And they did double
No,
take.
I introduced him as Skinny Chef Shane. And then they're like, oh, you're that guy? Oh,
Your
hey.
Skinny
Yeah.
Chef Shane is what they said. They said, wait a minute. You're Skinny Chef Shane?
The one and only?
Yeah. So I ended up having to do a selfie, which was pretty cool. But I've never in my life had someone come up and realize who I was. I was just like,
And
hey,
Travis asked
by
him
this someone, this is Travis Burns.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
So he's a pretty big name in the paramotor
big
community.
name, and he asked Shane to sign his chest.
no, that was not true. it was his left lower abdomen. Don't be rude. That's not true either.
Oh man.
That is so funny. So you guys just you all met, and it was kind of like, that's how it went. It was like, wait a minute, even though we all hang here on Mondays, but then you met in person. So that's how it kind of went.
Well, you see the guy over my my right shoulder here.
Yeah.
He shows up a Saturday night about, I don't know, what was it, about 9 o'clock?
Stop touching
maybe
him there.
10.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Well, watch where you're touching him.
Sorry, I couldn't.
This
help
is a
myself
family
there.
show,
I couldn't help
Shane.
myself. Just didn't like where you were touching him.
Anyways,
This guy.
Chris shows up and he's like, hey, Shane. I'm like, and as soon as I turned around, I knew exactly who it was. And then he's like, where's Brian? And so that was just a whole.
Funny.
I mean, he showed up and I asked him, I said, did you ask or tell anybody you were coming? He's like, nah, I'm just going to show
Hey, man,
up.
After you left, I had some good, deep conversations with Chris, man. He's a deep thinker. You should drink a beer and chat with him, man, for sure.
Oh my God. Hi, Doug. Doug's in the house.
Oh, Doug.
Yeah. Hello. I told
Oh,
Doug
yeah,
that he better come on.
So
Oh, Doug Martin. Welcome, Doug.
Yeah.
This
You were
was released.
Doug?
I was gonna stop by a little bit earlier, but I had a chance to fly, so that wins every time.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Matter of fact,
if y'all
I'm gonna
don't,
fly now. See y'all later. Hey, I got a bill.
Ah, hey, Bill.
Where you
That's
going?
why his name is Hey
Jesus.
Bill.
I'm just kidding.
Yes,
I'm
Bill.
not going to name any names, but we might have seen somebody fly at night. But
Yeah, that was
nobody
in
knows who it
Mexico.
was.
That was in Mexico. And just so y'all know, Doug Martin, he's been on our show a couple of times too in the past. Go back and check out those episodes with Doug Martin. Really awesome guest, great guy. Has come a long way in this last year because of an incident that happened. Any other questions for Larry before we go into the after party show?
The after.
Dave Wolf, Paramotor Crazy, just put in the chat how he said PPG Sean, Grandpa Sean Symons. Last night, I thank both your show and Paramotor Talk for both your shows supporting Resurgence PPG highlights last week with Mark, George, and the fundraisers. He said thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. And you can jump on if you want to and say hi. We miss you.
Yeah, it's David's birthday. It's his birthday today.
David's birthday today?
His birthday, yes.
Yeah, it's Dave's birthday today.
Man, well, happy
I know,
birthday. Well,
you guys have been out of the loop.
you know what? We need to sing happy birthday to him.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I am putting in the meeting ID and passcode. Let's go ahead and get David on here so we can all sing happy birthday to him.
Yeah.
I do have a question for our guest.
Yes, Tommy.
I was wanting to know, like, being in the sport for 14 years, have you made any trips with your motor? Like, I have so many trips in the future. I want to do, you know, a Moab, Utah trip. I want to do a Colorado trip. I want to do a Florida trip. Have you done any?
Like cross countries?
No. No. I was asking our guest if he's done any trip. Being in the sport for 14 years, has he done any trips with his motor, like as far as taking it on vacation?
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I've thought about it. I'd like to head to Florida. I'd like to do some ocean flying because I know it's supposed to be really good. I haven't had an opportunity yet. That's something that's on the bucket list. I'll definitely head to Florida or somewhere down where I can
Larry?
get some flying in.
I'm in Florida, and I'm literally, my house is 3 or 4 miles from the beach. So
Damn.
you'll need to let me know when you come. I know a
appreciate that.
place or two.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you've
over
only
it.
flown locally in your area and you haven't really gone out of state? Larry?
Well, I went to Indiana, but I wouldn't really call that out of state, even that's the next door. Trying to think the furthest place I went. We've got a bunch of really nice rivers, big rivers I've flown by. No,
So I
I've
guess-
actually never taken it. No, I've never gone out of state, really. That's
Interesting.
interesting. I've never really thought about it. I've just kind of flown locally. It'd be nice to do a fly-in somewhere, maybe head out to the dunes and out in California, or, you know,
That's
all
interesting.
the different fly-ins. I got to start doing some fly-ins is what I need to do.
So you've been
Yes.
flying for almost 15 years and you usually fly between 200 and 500 feet locally in your area.
Yep.
That's interesting. And you still love it.
Well, I love it. Just being up in the air, watching the sun go down, watching the deer below. We've got turkeys, pheasants, red-tailed hawks, owls, the deer. What else? We got coyotes. We actually had a bobcat out here once. There was a bear out here once. So the stuff you'll see if you just really look when
I
you're
got
up in the sky, it's really cool.
I got
So I
sprayed
love
by
it.
a skunk. Does that count? Tommy was out there. I was doing some foot dragging. A little skunk went. Psh, and I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, that story stunk.
Yeah, sure did. Anyways, guys, I got the meeting ID and the passcode in the chat. You guys are more than welcome to jump on. We're going to continue streaming until about 9 o'clock on the after party. And then we're going to cut stream at 9 and have the private after party if everybody's still here. Hopefully everybody's still here. If you want to jump on and ask Larry some questions face to face, Zoom to Zoom, that's a way to do it too. Yes, still. Oh, yes. Everybody, thumbs up. We're going to do a screenshot.
Oh.
A thumbnail.
Oh.
our
What?
thumbnails.
Ready? Everybody
What
cheese.
message
1,
you mean?
2, 3.
Okay. Wait,
Linda,
no, we gotta redo it.
Oh, John just came back on. He
There's
goes,
always
"Well,
one.
if you're going to be doing a thumbnail, go ahead.
Okay, do it again. All right.
Cheese.
You ready? Just kidding.
This.
Wait for it.
Wait, I'm trying to.
I think it's
Hurry up. Did you do it? Come on.
Yeah, we're good.
Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
Ah,
Did you not hear it?
No, you're killing us, dude.
I was not
Sorry
ready
about
for
that.
it.
I didn't know you tried to
we're
do a
stuck in
thumbnail.
thumbs up mode and we can't get
Give us
out
a
of it.
countdown, JP.
I thought you could hear the shutter. The shutter.
Listen,
Apparently it didn't work.
at some point, we're gonna get a prop strike guy in here that doesn't have thumbs anymore, and you're gonna say thumbs up, and it's just gonna be rude.
He's gonna be like, yay. Oh, okay. We
So,
also,
Larry, I just have to let you know, if we fly from the compound to the beach, you're gonna have to go about 3,000 feet to get over the river in case something happens.
Man.
So just an FYI, be prepared for that. But it is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful scenery of going over the Indian River, over to beachside, down, then you drop down over the ocean and go down the beach to Sebastian Inlet, and it's totally well worth it.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Sure
I
does.
heard this.
what's the highest you've flown? What's your highest altitude? AGL.
2,000 feet.
Wow.
Shane gave me the whole same spiel, man, at the fly-ins. Like, yeah, we'll go to the compound, we'll fly to the beach, and yeah, well, weather didn't cooperate.
Yeah, well, 17 miles an hour coming from the beach, we're not going to make it there.
We could be going backwards, like I did today.
Exactly.
Oh, that's something interesting too. Yeah. For our guest, Larry, what's the scariest, other than the that gust front you talked about? What's the scariest situation that you've been in?
Well, that helicopter snuck up on me.
Oh,
This guy owns, it's really interesting out in the cornfields. I don't know what this guy does for a living, but he's got his own helipad out in the cornfields. He'll land his helicopter and pull it in the garage. You can watch him do it. But I didn't know about the guy, and I was flying about 200 feet, and he came from behind me and right next to me. He's probably honestly about 40 feet away, but he obviously didn't know he should do it. All of a sudden, I just looked over and I kind of freaked out and went to the side. But that's kind of the oh damn moment I had. Other than that, I've been pretty lucky. I mean, I've done the typical falls in your face, but nothing where like, wow, this could go really badly.
Larry, have you had any accidents?
Accidents, falling on my face, slipping. Took out the side of my car once.
no.
Yeah. And here's the deal. It was a winter day, and it was one of those, don't do it unless you're sure you can do it. Well, I was sure I could do it. And I really set up far. I was on the other side of a football field, so 100 yards, no wind. And I start going, and there's a car and a tree. And, I was going to take off long before that, no problem. I'm running, and I'm not getting any lift, and I'm getting near the end. And I start to get a little lift. And as I get the lift, I clip the one side of the tree that throws me into the side of my car. I left a crease down the whole side of my car.
Oh,
it was brutal. And then I fell on my face at the end of the car, of course. Props went flying. It was like, I wish I had this on film because it's truly funny. I mean, I didn't get hurt at all, but it's like, oh my God, people will never believe this. It was one of those, trashed the whole side of the car. It was a 1-year-old car. Car trashed everything. It was brutal. So that was that's my best crash. The other ones were just,
So
fall on your knees.
What's the takeaway from that crash for the newbies to make sure that they don't follow in your footsteps?
If you're with them, if you start going, you're not getting any lift, and you're about 100 feet from where you think you're going to take off, and you're not. It's just not worth it. Worth it waiting, to fix your gear back up, spending thousands of dollars for new frames, propellers, side of your car. It's just not worth it.
Oh, I know. Can you imagine if that was somebody else's car?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, how would that happen? I mean, what would you do if something like that happened, if you damage somebody's
You're gonna take off. You're not just.
car like that.
It's not worth it.
Uh-oh.
Worth it waiting, to fix.
Putting you on mute because you are loud.
You're kind of be glad that I hit a hay bale instead of a car now. So the hay bale is super.
Exactly. Where'd Tommy where's Kevin Can Fly? Did he have to leave? I don't see him.
I don't
Do
know.
see him?
I landed, and then when I landed, I had to run out the wing, and I put both hands in my knee on the front of a pickup truck, but I didn't actually hit it. I just used it to buffer
What about
myself.
that time you face planted into the side of that trailer?
All stories. All stories.
I got a
Hey,
video of it, man.
we got Trike Flyer in the chat right now.
Oh, cool.
What? Trike Flyer?
Where? What?
Well, Amy,
The Amy.
please.
Hi, baby.
Trike Flyer.
I got my minute on here. All right. We got one.
Question for the panel. I asked it in the chat.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Walter, you're really loud.
whoa.
Way too loud.
Is that better?
Much better.
Okay.
Okay. I was going to I asked the question in the chat, but didn't get answered. How many hay bales did hit in a year?
No, you don't have me in the comments.
Oh, Walter, you still got to turn that thing down.
No, Walter, I saw that question. Who's that question for, Walter? About the hay bales.
Probably to our very own Hay Bale Waller.
Hey, Bill Waller.
Hey, since
I've
everyone's
only hit
here,
one.
how about we sing happy birthday to the wolf?
Happy birthday to the wolf.
Happy
And a
birthday.
one, and a two, and a three.
Screw that guy. I don't like that guy.
That's not how the song goes.
Where is he at? Where is he? I don't see him yet.
He's not in here. He's still closing a deal on the new windows that he just sold. So
Hold on. We'll pull him on. Hold on.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Dave, did you go to Gillum today?
I sure did.
Yeah.
Hi, Dave.
Walter, are you in the bathroom?
Yeah, Walter, you have a horrible echo.
Sound like you're in a
Sorry.
Walter, try whispering, Walter.
Is that better? Is that any better?
No, it's really loud and echoey.
We're not picking on you, Walter. We're just telling you we can barely understand you because of the echo and the reverb.
That's right.
Yeah, turn off.
What about
worse? All right.
Walter, turn your microphone down under.
Down under.
It's up on top at the moment. Is that any better?
That's much better, Walter.
Thank you.
Hi, Brian.
Hey.
There we go.
I'm going to start wearing a pink shirt every time I'm on here just for Brian.
What? I heard Brian.
I'm going to start wearing a pink shirt every time I'm on here since you called me Pink Flamingo when I had my chat question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Shots fired.
Pink shirt.
Shots fired.
With a
Calling
big
the wrong
flamingo on it.
person the wrong thing at the wrong time.
My bad.
That's
It's
not pink
also
flamingo.
moment question. You only made me drop the pie on the floor. It's okay.
Sorry about that, girl.
Now, if my wife was to make that statement, there's a whole different expectation of that.
Yeah, I still need, since you're feeling better and you're negative, I still need the information for the pies.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. I do have the list right here.
You've laid in bed for how many days? You ain't done nothing.
Man, I was not feeling it, man. I was not feeling it at all. But after some of that CBD oil from Smoky Meds, so shout out to Brooke. I feel so much better.
I could have sworn I put my address in there for some CBD oil. I don't know.
He likes me better. I don't know
Well,
what to say.
Hey, Shane, you didn't get 4 free bottles in the mail too?
Nope.
Really?
Did
Well,
you say
damn.
Oh, I'm putting. Hey, Brian, keep talking. I'll put hay bales out front of your camper door.
Challenge accepted, brother.
Hey, Parachick,
Yeah.
I was at Gillum again with your T-shirt and you weren't there.
Well, you have to let me know.
You never give anybody notice. You just go.
Oh,
Well,
I
you
knew he
know.
was going.
this is
Yeah,
pretty
see?
good.
Exactly.
Had you been
No,
looking?
You know what I think? You know what I think? I don't think there really is a T-shirt.
I'll tell you
I
what's
don't think
You
funny.
know what I
really is
think? I
T-shirt.
think if you looked at my test today, you would have known that I was going to Gillum.
Oh,
Dave was doing his test today, and Kyle comes on there and says, "Get off of that stupid thing. I'm flying by myself today." Boom.
He
was
didn't
off
say
the air.
stupid thing.
You're one of the 6 people watching that test today, you would have known he was going to get.
Are we gonna be a washout for the para party? You think?
It's looking like rain Friday, but I don't know. You know, this whole,
East Texas weather thing?
yeah, it's just, I don't know.
You
You know
don't
what?
like-
Hey, if it rains, we're going to eat well.
Yeah, and get drunk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Since we're going to be kind of like doing the after party thing here real quick, let's go ahead and thank our guest, Larry Korell. Thank you so much for jumping on and being our guest, and
yay. Thank you, Larry.
apparently our guinea pig.
I appreciate it, man. I know you had 10 other people ahead of me and they couldn't show up, so I was glad to fill in.
I don't think that's really how it is, but make sure that you stay here for the after party as long as you want to. We totally
Okay.
appreciate you, and for all those that would like to check out his YouTube, we have the link down below, so make sure you go there and check it out. We also have it on the screen, so if you're watching this, there is his stuff. He has 68 subscribers. Really hoping that we have at least 10 more subscribers to his page, hopefully in the next hour.
How did we not talk about him being the WPPGA world champion?
I'm glad you guys caught my sense of humor there. You know who I'm taking a shot at there.
Yes.
We'll just leave it. I couldn't resist.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And we are officially in the after hours. Welcome everybody. And we also have, I think I saw David Wolf in here. Yeah, there you are. David Wolf is in here. We also got the trike flyer. We got Parachick Pies. Hey, Parachick Pies, you look a little bit different with those glasses. We even got John Wayne in here too. Walter from Down Under is here. So welcome everybody.
Yeah.
Since we got David in here, just found out it is his birthday. So
Yeah.
Happy
birthday.
happy birthday. And
Spill the beans.
how about we all sing to him? Let's all sing
okay,
happy
let's go.
birthday.
How about we all listen to you sing it to him, Sean?
Yeah.
That song.
No, it has to be everybody, so we don't hear one person only.
Who's
I'll
gonna
start it.
spank you?
Okay. All right.
Linda will start
Are
it.
you ready, Amy? Come on, Amy. You gotta help me.
Let's go.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to you. There's a lot of lag, but
Oh man, I can't wait to go back and listen to that.
Doug Martin. Martin was singing. Can we start over?
you get one. You get one, Dave.
Like, that was
Oh
really
man, that was
Who's gonna give
awful.
him birthday spankings? That's all I want to know.
I came down here to jump on the show.
Came here to jump on the show so you can get your birthday spankings.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was saying, Shane does a good job attempting to read my comments.
Yeah.
I
Hooked
did-
on Phonics didn't work for me, okay?
I'm not saying that, Shane. You're changing the whole meaning. No, what I was saying is last night we had Resurgence on, and I thanked this show and specifically Mark George for his contribution raising money towards Resurgence PPG. I also thank Paragliding Talk, not Paramotoring Talk, Shane. It's called paraglidingtalk.com, and the show
.com.
and everything that Robert does to help out the cause there as well. So we had a really nice show. A lot of people donated money to the show, which back into Resurgence PPG, and now just a great organization. And there's a lot of. Are we on live or can I swear?
We're live, so
if you want to contribute $10 to Resurgence PPG, swear away.
Swear away.
The tip jar is still out right now, so
Contributed enough money, I could swear the rest of the hour, and I'd still be all right. So there's a lot of crap that is behind the scenes, a lot of political nonsense that our sport has to endure, unfortunately, and a lot of stuff I hope that people don't find out about. But with all the competition that there is, as we know that can be with schools, Resurgence PPG is the glue, I believe, that holds our community together. So it's not only it's a great thing for the community, but of course the underlying cause of Resurgence PPG, which is why I've been a huge advocate for them since I've really gotten into the sport. And Dave Ruff blew my mind away last night. Overly generous and donating one of his gliders to Resurgence PPG, and that glider home with one of the alumni of Resurgence. And Dave, that was just amazing what you did last night, buddy.
Well, what you guys don't know is that when we were in Florida, I took one of Rittman's gliders and I donated.
Very good.
So, generosity is easy when it's not yours.
You guys go ahead and plug. You guys go ahead and plug your show real quick too. Let everybody know where they can go to see you guys.
Wow. Well, Wednesday night, tomorrow, 2 nights from now, you got the Trike Flyer channel. It has the After Dark, which is the logo right behind him there. And that's every at 5 o'clock Eastern time.
Oh, hell, I do have that on. Ooh, sorry.
That's okay.
No, that's good. Keep it on.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Plug your stuff. That's what it's all about.
That's called a sneaky plug.
Here, we'll do it this way.
And there's that show that's on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock, Our Paramotor Nation. You can go to www.ourparamotornation.com, and all the upcoming shows are listed there. This coming Sunday night, Ryan Roberts is going to be on the show. And he's going to be talking. He just became a sponsor of the show. He's going to be talking about all the different products, what's coming up, the new earmuffs that are just coming into fruition, all the things that he has planned going on for 2021. So we'll dig into his brain there, talk about all the products and what he's doing with the sport too. We got a lot of, I don't want to go through all of them on your show right now, but we got a lot of,
there's a lot of stuff, and that's what we're all about. We're all about sharing and getting everyone that's out there listening. Maybe there's just someone that's listening to me on the audio podcast, never goes online. So go ahead and please plug your stuff. We want people to know more about this.
Yeah, that's a nice thing too, Sean, because I really believe, there's a couple shows that are out there. Obviously this is one of them, our show, Dave's, which is really a sister show to our show and kind of a spinoff. And of course, Thursday Night with Robert, which was really the first show that came out about 3 years ago.
I know, I'm so proud of him.
We're all
Mamas always are.
We're all very proud. When I say my prayers at night, I say, God bless my family and Robert Michaels. And so,
I too think about Robert Michaels right as I'm falling asleep.
Oh my.
I love you guys. That's why I love you guys. You're my family.
Exactly. This is
You're my favorite.
I'm really surprised that
put a seat down for that.
I like how you said. I like how you said sister show and not brother show when you referred to Trike Flyer.
Anyway, Mark. So anyways,
it's the long hair, isn't it?
All these shows, the purpose of these shows, your show, our show, Robert's show, is to educate and make people more aware and safer pilots out there, whether it's paragliding or paramotoring. The website that's taken a while to design, but really I'm very, very happy with it. It lists all the upcoming shows. So, that's the hard thing too, Sean, I'm sure you're aware of, is trying to find new guests and not overlapping each other, because nobody wants their audience. I mean, all of us share very common audiences, right? And we don't want we don't want the same information being repeated over and over and over again. It's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to put it out there so people knew what was coming up. So we have Ryan Roberts this coming Sunday. The following Sunday, Glenn Tupper. And if you haven't seen any of Glenn's videos, you have been missing.
Oh, cool. I've seen them. Yeah.
The Glenn Tupper.
Glenn Tupper. I'm so excited. JP, I think you actually asked for me to get him, didn't you, at one point?
Probably. Dude,
If not, he's going to take credit for it.
Yeah, take credit for it.
I thought it might have been you that asked for him, and I was trying already to get him, and I'm like, and he wasn't responding to me, and finally he did. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome, because I love his videos. He does a great job. After that, a lady who, with her name, she has never been on anybody's show, and that's Elena Honeycutt.
Real quick.
Cool.
Glenn Tupper. Here's Glenn Tupper.
Yeah.
There you go, and that's actually the picture I used right there for the thumbnail. So if
Really?
if you want to pull up the website, you can. Just kind of skim through it. I'm doing it here on my secondary computer, just so I can't
I
keep.
got this from
That's awesome.
he actually sells those boxers, I think.
Oh, get.
Yeah, I got those from the website.
Wow.
Come on, JP, we're okay to never see you in those boxers, okay?
I was thinking the same thing.
It's okay if
Raise the flag, hold the feet.
I've been caught in less. GP, if you wear them, you'll still be better off than I put myself in.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yes,
David
you will be,
usually jump,
JP.
yeah. David usually jumps on the show, naked in a hot tub. So I mean, I'm really surprised that he actually has clothes on this time.
I've gone out of my way in recent months to have a new image of myself and not make an ass of myself, right? So there's that.
Oh, thanks.
What, Linda? Did you have something to say? So, oh yeah, Paramotor of the Americas. That was a great one. Is this his website? Oh,
Yeah,
there.
this is Glenn's.
Very cool.
Glenn's
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh, there's a cool
Oh, I like
coffee.
that coffee mug. That's pretty cool.
But his videos are fantastic, and if you haven't watched them, I mean, it's very documentary-ish, if that's a word, documentary-ish. So
That's a big word.
it is big. I don't think it's a real word either. All right, so then after that, we got Elena Honeycutt coming up, and then we're gonna have, and then we can't. David and I are not gonna tell any of the secrets here of what's coming up here, but we're gonna have a very fun show on December 20th. It's gonna be the Christmas Spectacular. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. That's really the whole purpose, is just to give back. Why did I go blurry there? And actually, I got a huge box here from Justin Fox at Fly My PPG, a ton of T-shirts. I've got more T-shirts from other sponsors coming on. I'm hoping to get some other cool stuff as well. And then let me ask you a question, Sean.
Yes.
What do you think the top 2 reasons people don't start flying paramotors are? Top 2 reasons.
Top
Money.
2 reasons: don't have enough money.
Money's
Don't
number
have
one.
enough. Yeah, number 1, I don't have enough money.
Yeah.
Number 2, I don't have enough
Yeah.
time to get training or to go fly.
Wait. I know.
I mean that's what I think.
Okay. Anybody else?
Scared of heights.
Me.
Dave, you already know what the show is that I'm referring to. Is this fair?
So I think number 2 is scared of heights.
Okay.
Nah, I think it's my wife won't let me.
That's the answer, Brian. That's the answer.
Really?
Yes.
The single guy nails it.
I am scared of heights.
I don't have to worry about those problems, man. That's where it is.
We know a lot of paramotor pilots are actually. I won't go up on my roof, and I have a hard time going up on a ladder now. And Walter's nodding. That's I think he agrees, right? So, but spousal support, getting buy-in. I've had a lot of not paramotor pilots, a lot of guys who are interested in getting into sport saying, "Hey, I saw a video you did, and your wife was on it. And, is there any way she could talk to my wife, because I'm just not getting buy-in from my wife?" Because you could have the money and not have the spousal support, and you're not getting in. Okay. So we have what I think is going to be one of the most impactful shows that we've ever done. And that's going to be on January 3rd. You ready for this lineup?
Sure.
Okay.
My favorite person in the world is going to be on the show: Jennifer Wolf, Carrie Cotter, the wife of Mike Cotter. Someone just mentioned Travis Burns. Carrie Burns, Travis's wife, and the 4th wife is a lady by the name of Jennifer Oakley.
Aw.
Jennifer's freaking awesome too.
So those
Yes, she is.
So fun.
ladies are going to be coming on the show, and they're going to be talking about, and what's one of the things that they all have in common is that every one of them was married to their husbands before their husbands became a paramotor pilot. So it's not like someone like, say, like a Kyle Mooney who was already flying and then got married, right? He was already doing it. So he didn't really have to get the buy-in. He said, hey, look, this is who I am. So it's them talking about what it took, because my wife did not want me to fly. She wanted nothing to do with this, and
Mine still doesn't.
Who doesn't?
Really?
My wife still doesn't want me to fly.
Come to fly-ins though.
Okay, hold on. That doesn't mean she's just waiting to make sure that I'm dead to collect the life insurance.
Collect.
Fair
She
enough.
wants to make sure.
Do you guys want to talk to her right now? I'll bang on the window and have her come
No.
forth.
But Shane, this show is made for you in particular and her. I highly encourage people to have their spouses sitting next to them if they're uncomfortable with it, so they can hear from these ladies and ask questions of these ladies. And I'm hoping that this show takes on a life of its own, where I can kind of step away and let the ladies just talk to each other, and almost like a little coffee talk. But this is also, for people who may be instructors who have people coming in and saying, this is a problem I'm having, share this video down the road with those people who are trying to get in. So it could really make a long-term impact for people, which is what the hopes is. After that, January 10th, and these I haven't updated on the website, but Harley Milne's going to be talking to us, hopefully after his record has been created of going across the country. Dave doesn't know this, but I just signed today, January 17th, Alexis Quintana. Does anybody know who Alexis is?
Yep.
Texas, right? Lone
Yeah.
Star.
Lone Star Paramotor.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to be talking to us. And then the 24th is kind of up in the air because I think I'm taking a trip to
Up in the air.
Oh, hey-oh. And then Dave Hanning. This is someone that Ripa's bringing on. Anybody know who Dave Hanning is? So Dave Hanning is a paramotor. He's a paraglider pilot. So that's what we got, and that gets us through January. So that's where we are. And I was just mentioning to Dave and Ripa that sometime in April, it's hard to believe this, and this show is going to get there too. Sometime it's going to be either April 11th or April 18th, depending if I do a show on Easter or not. It's going to be our 100th episode already.
What? That's awesome.
Who did that?
It was all of us.
I don't know what it was.
Our 100th episode, and we just started kicking around a couple ideas of what we're going to do for that special occasion, but I want to make it really, really special. I didn't think I was going to get past 5. Okay.
Hey,
I know,
Dave,
right?
Dave,
sir.
I got a new toy today.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is still the recording.
Don, you got that?
We're recording for the next 15 minutes.
Don, let me give you a hint. Finger on the mute button. Okay, Dave, what's your new toy?
Well,
Does it
let
come
me
with a
show you.
battery?
What's
Yes. No, actually, this one doesn't come with a battery. It just plugs right into the computer. Hey,
Into
Dave.
the computer.
Why
Does that mean we can control it?
Alexa, turn it on.
That's where we're going.
Oh Lord.
No, I got a Stream Deck today, so I can control all sorts of different camera angles over here. and
Oh.
stuff like that.
Okay. Camera 1, number 2.
I've got 3 cameras. I've got all sorts of stuff. All I got to do now is just punch buttons.
There you go.
Now, where did you get this from, and how much does something like this cost? Because I'm thinking about something like that too.
Sean,
Stream
you're no
Deck.
Fabio. We just need one camera.
Not anytime soon. I can't afford all this stuff.
Well, the way that I got this is donations on the show. So all those donations that I got, I ended up upgrading for the show. The Stream Deck, let's see here. You can get up on Amazon, and it was...
Hey, Dave. Camera 1. And, did it work?
Yeah, it did.
2. And camera 1. Hey, camera 1.
Nice, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw you playing with OBS the other day. 134.
Wow.
Okay, so that's not
That ain't
bad.
bad.
So I'm,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, matter of fact, here, check this out.
Dave and his toys.
There we go.
Ooh. That looks familiar. I've seen that before. I know where I've seen that before.
What?
I think we saw that at Aviator.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. whatever. Bye bye.
Hi, Larry. Larry. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hey,
What? Who's coming on?
No, Larry, our guest is still there. We're
He's
just
already
saying
here,
hi.
Linda.
Oh,
Yeah.
Larry. Hi, Larry.
hello, hello again.
You forgot you're here.
Yeah. Oh, Larry's here. Say hi, Larry.
Hello, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hey, for the record, Larry, I didn't forget you were there, man.
I appreciate that, man. You give you
I
both.
thought
credit on
maybe
that
she
one.
was just lagged out or something, and she just not came through.
No, she forgot.
Hey, look how many people we have on right now. JP, you want
know.
to do a thumbnail real quick to get everybody on here?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
What?
man.
What?
Birthday.
I got to do my virtual background.
You can
No
turn
one's
the virtual
gonna
back. I can see
Oh,
your
actually
finger right
look
there.
into this.
Look at the Georges.
Hold on.
Yes.
Ready? Everybody ready?
Jeez.
Ready?
Jeez.
1, 2.
Oh, man.
Get
My
it, JP?
My cheeks
Gotta
hurt.
worry about this stuff. Good Lord.
Hey, every time I've covered up
David,
Brian
we can
and-
see
and
your
JP's
background move,
face.
so we know that you're not froze.
So, since we know that our guest is still here, I do have another question for him.
Oh, there
Have
we go.
you
It'll be
ever
from Pink Flamingo or
flown
from
over
you?
water? What's
Have I ever
that?
flown over water?
No, have you ever
We-
flown over water and needed flotation? Have you ever had a motor out over water?
No, the only river we have rivers by us. The rivers aren't all that big. I think the biggest river I've flown across is probably about 500 yards across, and I've never needed it. But some of the guys do fly like to fly low over the water. If I'm going over water, I'm going where I know I can land on the other side or go back to where I'm at. But some of the guys do fly lower. They'll fly 100 feet. Some will fly 50 feet over the water, and they do carry, the automatic flotation devices. So they've never had to use it. But as we know, anytime you're flying these motors, man, I don't trust them. I just don't trust them as much as with the Polini. I've never had an engine out in 600 hours on them, but I still don't trust it.
Larry, did I hear you say you've been flying for 14 years?
Yep.
And who did you train with?
Dave
He lives
Halcombe?
in Jeff Goins' neighborhood, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jeff lived about a mile and a half from me down the street.
Okay. So in 14 years, you got to see the rise and I don't want to say the fall yet, unfortunately, but the rise of the Shanzis and the Fisters.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your take on all that and watching these guys come in and really the reason though only that they're so big is because of the media marketing that they've done through YouTube. Other than that, they'd be just nothing.
Exactly. Well, Fisters seems to have a lower profile. Shanzi is obviously the guy that's out there, the narcissist that I believe him to be. What really kind of aggravates me about him is that the people getting into the sports are trying to figure out what should they get, who should they go to, and because of his marketing, to go to him, and he's pushing all this stuff and telling stuff either stretching the truth or sometimes lies. I really think he takes advantage of people, and that truly bothers me.
Is that about Fister?
Yeah, Fister, I don't know enough about him. I just don't hear enough. But Shanzi is the one that I think just takes such advantage of people that truly don't know better. If you get into the sport, you have no clue. I remember getting into it, like, wow, what's good gear? What's not good gear? Who's a good instructor? And you start to fall for his stuff, and you start to believe it. And man, he's just underhanded. I like people being straight with me, and I don't feel he's a straight person. He rubs me the wrong way. And he's probably the only person on the planet I truly don't like, and I actually don't even know the guy other than what I've read about him. And
I never met him, but he sure posted a lot of mean things in the comment sections of my my videos. I mean,
Really?
mean, just cruel things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, yeah,
What,
there's something
because
about him.
I started off with a used flat top, and then I got that so I could jump over and get the Angel.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went from the flat top to the Angel, that's when he trashed me. I mean, paragraphs and paragraphs of just I'm the most evil guy in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
There's something about him. He just rubs me the wrong way. Like I said, I just don't want to see people taking advantage of him, which is exactly his business model. Get people that don't know what they're doing and try to sell them everything that possibly can and convince them he's the best pilot. And just to see people getting taken advantage of just pisses me off to no end.
Well, Larry, it sounds like you got tons of experience, man, and you've met a lot of people. But have you ever been an instructor or taught somebody how to fly?
Yeah, my son. When he graduated college, he wanted to fly. The odd thing was, I mean, I trained him for a while, and when I felt he was ready to go, after several months, kiting, all the good stuff you should do, he had one flight, had a blast. I've got it up on the site, and then he just never wanted to do it again. I don't know why. To this day, he can't explain why. It's just a time constraint, I guess, for him.
Wow.
But that's the only person. I try not to train people. And, there's people out there that are really good at doing that. And I'm a decent pilot, but there's a lot of pilots way better than I am and a lot of instructors way better. I just did it because he wanted to do it. And he's my kid, so I kind of felt safe doing it.
I'll share with you this. Sisters is toned it down quite a bit in the last year. If you look back over a year ago, before I did that video comparing free training versus training for it,
hold on. There's a lot. Kevin, hit your. Who's Thank you.
So he's not pumping out the videos like he used to. I think a lot of people have really opened their eyes. I've had people. Actually, I had one gentleman, and this was more than one occasion, but I remember one gentleman called me from Fly My PPG saying, I just want you to know I'm here right now because of your video and not over there at Pfister's. I was ready to go, and then I saw your video and I pulled back. Now, with that being said, I think Dave knows this story, and I think he's the only one I'll share this story. There's a gentleman that reached out to me. I'm not going to say his name, but he reached out to me about 2 months ago, and he calls me up. He said, he messaged me first. He said, I just started flying. I trained at Flight Junkies, and I'm having trouble. I live in Lexington. I'm having trouble getting my glider over my head now. Can you help me? And I replied back. I said, well, I'd love to, and congratulations on learning to fly. But I'm really not an instructor. He goes, well, you just become a basic flight instructor. I'm like, oh yeah, there is that. I said, well, I don't know if I'm really comfortable teaching anybody. And I said, but why did you go to Flight Junkies? His response was, because I saw your video after I went to Flight Junkies. So he was there for a week, made only 3 flights. And then I said, all right, come on, let's check it out. And so he comes up to Cincinnati, and we had not the best conditions, but we tried to work on it. And then when the conditions calmed down, he was able to get the glider overhead, but he wasn't good with his throttle control, came off the throttle. Twice he got lucky and didn't rip up his glider. Third time, not so lucky. And we sent that off to Shannon. Got the glider back.
Shannon who?
To Shannon.
Shannon who?
Your girl.
Yeah.
Dang?
I know.
Really?
I know,
Seriously?
Hold on. I'm trying to give a shout out, and it's not working.
Okay. She says Shannon Michaels at 4 Winds to repair it. Friends of Shane, who taught Shane.
Full disclaimer.
I'm sorry. I mean, Shane acts dumb all the time. I thought he was just continuing.
Can I
Love you, Shane.
Here's the worst part of it all. I said to him very clearly, I said, go back, work with your throttle control, keeping it there. Don't take your hand off the throttle so that glider gets over your head, stays there, and then you can go full throttle. And we'll come back when you get your glider back, and we'll go ahead and work on it some more. But whatever you do, don't attach your glider to your trike. Guess what happened next? He attached the glider to the trike, took off, went and followed in my footsteps, unfortunately, and went into a tree.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
Ribs, strained internal muscles, and a concussion. His trike made it out in one piece. His paramotor's trashed. Luckily, I've got a very good friend that's been a guest on our show, Tim Garvey, who's going to sell him a lot of his used parts and do all the work at no cost for him to fix the whole thing back up.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
Time he'll come see me and we'll get him there again. So Pfister's very scary, and I've heard more, and people reach out to me a lot and give me nightmare stories. And in fact, that's one of the things that I'm not going to call him out by name when we do the show with Alexis, but I know that there's a lady that's training right now. That was what I call a Pfister failure. And luckily he didn't give up on it. Like I didn't give up on it. And now is getting the right training over at Lone Star. So that's great news there. So, but it's funny that you should say that, Larry, because I'm actually working, and I hate to share a secret, but I'll share it just because, I'll share it. I'm working on a project right now video that I think is going to be a very impactful video. And the title of the video, you guys are promising you're not going to make your own videos, right?
No.
Right? JP's
I'm
like,
not allowed to show my video, so don't
I got
worry.
10 subscribers today. I'm good.
all
I'm gonna steal this idea so quick.
I make zero promises about making no videos.
I'm still waiting to get exhaust repaired or replaced because I haven't been flying for a while and I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. But I'll watch your video.
The name of this video is probably going to come out. I mean, I'm in production on it. It's going to be a long way before I have it perfected where I want to put it out because I think it's going to make a huge impact and have a lot of views on it for a year or two to come. It's going to be called How to Choose Your Paramotor Instructor or School. What separates, and basically it'll go into what kind of questions are you going to ask the instructor interviewing them? You know, talk to a bunch of different instructors, but do you have this? Do you have this? Are you doing this? Or are you just throwing it all together? Are you just throwing people up in the air and hoping to God that they come down safely? You know, that sort of stuff. So hopefully
That's going to be a really good video. I can't wait for that one. I've noticed, huh?
Oh, sorry. That's the first thing. I was Larry. I was just chatting. I didn't mean to chat over you. It's the first thing I look back at when I started. Like I knew nothing. I mean, literally nothing. I had to rely on someone, but I didn't even know what questions to ask.
All right, what's going on?
That's a great video.
What's going on at the George house right now?
I told you, battered woman's charity.
All right, Larry.
That's okay. That's all I was saying. Yeah, it's just you don't even, as a newbie, you don't even know what to ask. I mean, where do you even start?
What a mistake I made. What a mistake I made. But I drank the Kool-Aid and I thought I was going to the right place because of the mentality that he instills. It's us versus them.
Yep, exactly.
What's that?
So, true story. Most people don't know. I don't think I've ever shared this. Looking into getting into paramotoring, I almost fell for the Fresh Breeze setup.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah, because of the free training, my limited funds. I mean, I got into the sport literally with, when I say every dime that I had, I literally got into the sport with everything. If I break something, I'm screwed because I don't have the money to replace it. But I've been flying and I love it. And I mean, if I had to go get a second job to get a prop, then I'll go get a second job. But literally, when I got into the sport, I looked at Kurt Pfister, and just for the simple fact of free training, I was like, man, I can buy all the gear and get free training. It'll be perfect. It's cheaper. And honestly, I was trying to get a hold of people that flew at the compound. And when I contacted them via their videos or what have you, I didn't get any replies. And one day I was at work and I seen a guy drive by in a paramotor, and I jumped in my work truck and I chased the guy down to his office, and I had a conversation with him. He told me about Four Winds and told me about aviators, which both schools are, in my opinion, from what I've seen, are exactly the same. I called aviators and they were, I want to say 9 months out. And I was like, I didn't want to wait 9 months. So I called Four Winds and they're like, oh, when do you want to come? And I was like, and I got to thinking, I'm in Florida. It's hot. So maybe October would be cooled down a little bit. Went there in October and it was still 98 degrees. There was no relief. So, I mean, I just for the simple fact of the free training, I don't think I've ever said this before, but I mean, on a live, but, you know, in private, I've said it, but I almost fell for going there because of the free training. And I've gone to fly-ins. I've had pilots, well, they're not pilots. They've gone to training and not been able to fly after going to that class. And I'm like, man, I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation. Right now, I'd be busted. I would have busted up equipment that I couldn't afford to replace right now. And I'm lucky.
That's such a good point, because when Mark started flying and everything and seeing how much money he spent, I thought, and I was getting excited for him. And then I flew with Breezy for the first time on a tandem, and I thought, "Ooh, I want to do this." And I thought, how would I ever be able to afford to do this because it's so expensive? I mean, and I'm kind of glad that he's, you know, gone through it, spent the money, made all the mistakes, because now we can save money on me, plus, you know, starting the business. But I remember thinking, there's no way I'm going to fly. It costs too much money. We can't afford both of us.
Yeah.
Best money you'll ever spend is on training, and you get what you pay for.
Amen.
I 1000% stand behind that statement right there. 1000. It's
Don't
How do-
buy any
I mean-
gear until you go to the trainer and meet the teacher,
Yep.
because a lot of people make that mistake. They buy their gear, they think they can know what to pick out. I did start with a Fresh Breeze, and I almost went to Pfister. And as soon as I went to Kyle O'Glee, first thing he did is make me get rid of that Fresh Breeze. So
And that would kind of suck because you just spent money on that Fresh Breeze.
Mhm.
yeah, but I got a pretty good deal, man. Another guy went to Pfister. I don't know that guy personally because I got it through a third party. But evidently, what happened is he went to the training. I got the wing and the whole setup. He went to training. He learned how to fly. He did one flight. He came home, sold his trailer, sold the equipment, and I ended up with it for like $4,600.
Oh, you got to stop.
And I guarantee you, he spent probably 10 grand plus on it.
13
Oh,
grand.
yeah.
13 grand.
13,
Wow.
yeah, because it was the Simonini 202.
Yeah, I spent 12.9. Is that with the trike or without?
No trike, but I got the wing and the paramotor, and it was all brand spanking new.
Just under 10 then. Just under 10.
Yeah, I paid $4,600 for it.
You did really well. Waste of money going there. I'm gonna.
And a guy didn't go into the sport; he gave it up.
Too bad. I hate to see anybody get out of this sport. I really do. I'm gonna say goodnight because I've got birthday cake waiting in bed. I mean, I need to get to sleep for the night.
You're looking to go get a piece. Dave, so you're looking to go get a piece. Got it, of that cake.
Is it cake or is it pie?
Oh no, not again.
Look at Dave.
Gonna go get me some pie.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for
It is
jumping
here.
on.
Mark can plug me, you know.
Mark is plugging you? What?
All right, so now that
We're
Dave's
thinking
gone,
about
I'm
the
going to give
birthday cake
everybody.
or pie.
Well, she did say any chance.
Now that Dave's gone, I'm going to give everybody his personal number so we
Later,
can
Dave.
text him.
There you go.
Hell, I'll give it to you. I have it too.
Goodbye.
He gives it to everybody.
See ya.
Thanks, Dave.
See you, Dave.
See you, Dave.
All right, now we can talk about him.
There you go.
Because he's going to be watching.
I say we all text him about 2:00 in the morning. Happy birthday.
And
There you go.
It's his birthday
And
anymore.
Belated birthday.
Yeah, I was going to mention on the show last night, but I didn't want to get muted, so.
So Dave, how's that?
Bring him every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't not sit on the bananas.
Dave,
Exactly.
Dave, how's your farm? How's your farm doing?
Yes, Dave.
Busy.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
I've
rough?
got a calf fixing to be born. I've got another cow that hopefully in the spring, we don't know if she's pregnant or not. We got to palpate her here in another couple weeks. One of the turkeys went to the Great Freezer Camp this morning for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Yeah, other than that, it's just it's busy. I've got 42 eggs fixing to hatch here in about 3 days.
Nice.
Have new chicks on the ground as well. So
Hey, I don't know if any of you guys have watched Ripman Ryden's ripping around the compound video, but he's the first guy. He's the first guy to penetrate me on a wingtip during flight, and I'm watching it right now.
Say that again, Shane.
You hush your face. You hush your face.
Hopefully he'll like this one that's in the oven.
What am I watching here?
Whatever.
TV screen. What are we watching here?
Chips up there.
That looks like flying at Live Oak.
yeah, that looks like
There's a lot of people.
that looks like it.
Swanee Parafest.
Yep.
Look how excited I get.
I know. Look at your feet. Your feet are like, oh.
Down my foot.
Oh, is this
Yeah.
the swan?
Good.
He's flying with hay bale.
That's hay bale. I said, oh shoot, that's hay bale.
About to run into him. He's about to chase him
Yeah.
down and
Fly through his
do a
wake
wing
and
tip.
everything.
Oh yeah, I put my heat seekers on, tractor beam locked, and I engaged speed bar to track him down. I was like, oh man,
Was there a pretty good turnout?
it was good.
It
was,
looks like there's a lot of people there.
maybe a couple
Well,
hundred.
rumor has it I just go to fly-ins to drink beer. So,
That's all I saw.
Exactly.
No, Shaney, I saw like you were cooking some serious breakfast there.
Island flyer.
I cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Every meal there.
I would just like, I would just hang out there for the food.
Hold on, that's a lie. What was it? JP, was it Saturday we had the $5 breakfast of burnt pancakes?
Yes, that was.
Oh, you burnt the pancake?
Not me. No.
Oh, who
The
did?
one day he didn't cook, it got burnt.
No.
Yay.
I have
Hey,
a
so
question.
I'm really-
I have a question real
I'm
quick.
really curious. Who's gonna text Dave in about 5 minutes with a "I need a glass of water" mom?
Yeah, who's gonna do that? Yeah.
Well, throw his
5
number
minutes.
up on the
5 minutes.
YouTube
You better do it
chat
in about
and
2
we'll all
minutes.
text him.
No, everybody who has kids knows it's right about the 5-minute mark when you close the bedroom doors and all of a sudden your toes get tickled.
I do have a question about the video that's being played real quick, y'all. I see that it's an airport and you got a lot of people around. How do you, I mean, is this an active airport? Is it closed off for GA?
No, it's active. They actually had on Saturday morning between 8 and 10, they had the, correct me if I'm wrong, JP, was it the was it the EEA or EAA?
The experimental
Aircraft Association.
They had people coming in, at the same time we're flying, coming in and going out. The pattern just went way around where we were flying. We had our little pattern, which was inside the larger pattern. So
We were. Go ahead, JP. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it was a thing. Like you had to keep your head on a swivel. It was for sure not the safest environment. I wouldn't call it dangerous though. The aircraft.
There was no communications once again between everybody. They did tell people to initiate a left-hand pattern and try to stick to that. So that helped a lot. But I was flying a Mojo. I had people coming.
Limit?
I had people underneath me, left and right on me, passing me, man. Just, I mean, way too many people too close to me for a while.
Yeah, you were trying to keep that social distancing of 6 feet at least.
As JP just did a tip touch with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gave you the coronas.
He finally chased me down, man. He was persistent.
I noticed that JP was holding on to the risers pretty hard.
That's because I was on speed bar. So,
gotcha. Just for stability?
No, I was steering with the rear. Keys.
Can you show that again real quick? Because I don't think I've ever done that before.
JP, are you saying that you were steering from the rear during the tip touch?
No. Steering from the rear. I see. Okay, I got you now.
Oh my goodness.
Amy's showing her baking tonight.
Yeah, she's baking pies for my bosses tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
What flavor pies?
What are these?
This one right here is back to when I lived in Kentucky. It's a Kentucky Derby pie.
And for those of you that do not know, that's Mark and Amy from paraswagusa.com and Parachick Pies.
And I still don't have a sticker to go to that brand new paramotor or paracamper I got out there. I still don't have any stickers. It's weird.
I don't have any addresses to send people stuff.
That has been my fault, and I apologize.
Yeah.
Actually,
I know.
Shane, I heard one sticker was being mailed to you today. 24-inch Paralife sticker.
Yeah, bigger the better. I'm just saying.
And just so you guys know, I got
That's what
myself
she
a
said.
really comfortable Paris
You like them
flag
big, huh?
t-shirt.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And those, y'all get stickers too. Those of you who had donated for pies, so you'll get 2 stickers.
Yeah, I'll send you all that information. I've been kind of under the weather, and
Yeah, I heard.
I mean, a real host would have gone through no matter what he was going through. He would have sent out that information.
I didn't want to accidentally text them some COVID if I had it, so I was trying to be safe.
Oh, you wear
Now it's
gloves, it
coming
just
through
works.
via text.
Don't
Hey,
want to
man.
send any viruses.
I was watching Channel 2 this morning, and Alex Trebek was still on Jeopardy, so I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
Well, I'll tell you this: if I'd have found out he was in the hospital, I would have personally went to the hospital and got the list before he passed out on it.
Yeah. Oh man.
So show us real quick, JP. You're holding on to your brake and to your rear risers.
Yeah, just on. I think it's different on every glider, but like right here, right where I just basically clip my magnets to their spot on the D riser, and on most gliders you're not supposed to pull brakes when you're on speed bar, because you can cause a collapse or whatever. So
Yeah, it's what's known as rear riser steering.
Which actually on the ozone gliders you can pull brake, but it's a bad habit to get into, I feel like. So I'm trying to not get into the habit of pulling brakes while I'm on speed
So I
bars.
have a question real quick while we're right here. When you're riding your speed bar, if your wing has tip steering, that would be the time you would use your tip steering, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
but I have to either let go of the toggles to do that.
Because you got them tied in. Yeah, see, I keep mine separate. I don't tie them in that
Now,
way.
I seen a video that Kyle O'Glee did the other day where he was doing his speed bar and steering with his speed bar.
Yeah, so you let out the opposite foot, and it just creates a articulation in the leading edge of the wing instead of in the trailing edge of the wing. So
Kind of like putting one
up.
trimmer out or another.
Yeah, exactly. Just it's like doing the trimmers on the nose instead of doing the trimmers on the tail.
Exactly. I was listening to Cloud-Based Mayhem today. If you guys haven't listened or don't listen, just check out Cloud-Based Mayhem on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. Pretty awesome stuff that I was listening to. Anyway, it is 9:14. My dogs are growling out there. My son's home. There's mayhem going everywhere and things are up in the air. So I am going to cut the live stream. I want to thank everyone for being here. Definitely our guest, Larry Korell. We appreciate it. Trike Flyer made it over here and Paramotor Crazy jumped on. We appreciate you guys. Walter from Australia and Tommy from, local. Thank you, Tommy, PPG Tommy. And of course, we can't forget Mark and Amy from paraswagusa.com. Parachick Pies, is that a .com yet?
Yes, it is. I still have some more pictures to put up, so I haven't published the site yet.
Awesome. So check out Parachick Pies. You won't believe what you find. JP, thank you very much for being our IT guy and sharing some screens. Kevin Can Fly with all your awesome information at kevincanfly.com. Linda Anderson, she is our cheerleader, and we appreciate you very much. Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane.
Hello.
Our comic relief and the guy that likes to, there he is. Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane. He has 424 subscribers. Hopefully after tonight, you might, subscribe if you want to. I don't know. We got Brian Hey Bill Waller. He's been with us for how many episodes now? How many episodes, Brian? How long you been with us?
I think this is about 21 or 22, something like that.
Wow, we are on episode 43 already. So thank you so much. We got, let's see, John Wayne jumped in. So welcome and thank you very much, John Wayne. Doug Martin, if you, we've had him on a couple of times. So thank you, Doug, for jumping on. And and hanging out with us. I think I hit
Always.
everybody, right? I said everybody. So thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate you. I think I'm missing something. Who else am I missing? Did I miss anybody? Meinberg. He was on. He had to jump off real quick. So thank you for jumping on early. We appreciate you guys. So that's it for this episode of PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, aka Clear Prop TV. Go over and listen to us at paratalk.org. Y'all have a great evening, and we appreciate you. And see you next week. Same
Appreciate it,
para time,
everybody.
same para channel.
Great show.
Hi guys.
Cheers.
Love
Yeah.
y'all.